What do the French culture, Michael Jackson, Jeffrey Epstein, and aliens all have in common? They're all big conspiracies. So tune into this episode to hear me and my friend talk about what conspiracy theories can do to your everyday life and even mental health. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Family Business Podcast with the Alessis. My name is Alessi Burgos, and I am your host for this episode. And I'm joined today by one of my closest friends, Dania Montejo. How are you, Dania?
Hi. I'm so happy to be here.
Good.
I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
I'm a huge fan of you.
I am a huge fan of you.
So before we dive into our topic, just a few notes and comments for our listeners. We have officially hit past 1 million views on YouTube, so that is huge. We just want to take a second to celebrate that. So please also like, share, and subscribe this video. If you like it, if you have a friend who is into this topic, which we're going to dive deep into soon, and if you have any friends who are also maybe a little bit conspiracy theorists, I don't know. And then lastly, we are about to hit our 250th video as a podcast and just podcast episode, not just video. But our family has changed a lot. So please comment below, how has your family changed since we started the Family Business Podcast, which was originally in 2021. A lot of us weren't married, no grandkids yet, or I think just one grandkid.
I don't even think you guys had boyfriends.
I don't even know. I for sure didn't. Like last year, I didn't have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So anyways, no, I did last year, 2 years ago. Anyways, comment down below how your life has changed since this podcast started. We would like to know. Okay, let's take a breather and let's dive into today's topic.
Round of applause. What is it? No.
ASMR.
Go.
So we are talking today about conspiracy theories. Conspiracy
theories.
Yes, with my friend, who I'm not
Yes.
going to label a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to label her a wonderful, beautiful mother, wife,
Thank you.
daughter,
Thank
friend,
you. Everything.
who happens to love conspiracy
Who happens to
theories.
love conspiracies. Okay.
Dania,
yes.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I've known you guys, I think we're going on 10 years of
10
friendship.
years. It's been a long time.
We came here from a conference. It was like some young adult conference, and we just hit it off. Like,
yeah, immediately.
it was my husband. At the time, he was my fiance. We just hit it off with like all the Alessi kids, and like my husband ended up working for church at some point. And honestly, since then, it's been a wonderful friendship that's developed into this now. Honestly, it's like a sisterhood, at least for me, whether
really
they want to
is.
admit it or not.
No, it really is.
Because I'm an only child, so I have inherited this family that loves on us so well. And yeah, I serve at this church. Metro Life Church is my church. I have 3 children, as she
Mhm.
mentioned. I have kids. They all are in the kids ministry. They do everything with us. So we're in a very blessed season to be here, and I really have nothing but good things to say about this show and my pastors and this family, and it's so great. Lauren texted me, and she's like, would you come on and talk about conspiracies? So I'm like, what do you think about me that we're talking about conspiracies?
Well, no, okay. Well, first of all, your husband also works for a podcast, like a big
Yes.
podcast in Miami. Did you
Yes.
tell him you were coming on? Did
No,
you tell
he
Louis?
has no idea.
Yeah.
He has no idea. I'm just going to surprise him and be like, babe, look what I did.
Just as when it comes out.
When
just
it comes out, I'm
surprise
just going to be like, hey, look.
That's actually perfect.
Yeah.
And your kids are the funniest kids I've ever met.
They're actually
Leona?
next door. They're practicing for a drama skit that we're doing with the co-op that we do here at church. And they're learning about the Boston Tea Party, which could also be a conspiracy.
Okay, but that is my favorite story of all time.
Yes.
So please don't rag on that
No,
one.
I won't rag. I won't
Okay,
rag.
but I don't think you are a conspiracy theorist, but of all my friends, you dive deep into the conspiracy theory world.
Yes. And it's really here, and this is probably the funny part because we always talk about this as a friend group. So it's like a group of us. So it's like
Yes.
the Alessi girls who now are like different last names. So Alessi Burgos and
Muña.
Muña. So the Alessi girls plus our other friends, Krista and Kirsten. Like that's our group chat. So when we reference the group chat, that's kind of the people that we're talking about.
And that is, the group chat is a big thing.
It's a big thing. But when we love to talk on the topic that I feel like women don't know how to have conversations outside of children and husbands
Yes.
or like their day-to-day lives, where it's like we work in ministry and there's like not work, but we serve a lot of ministry that we're kind of required to have to hold a conversation with new people that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where like this intriguing like conspiracy topic came from, is really like topics that you can have conversations with anybody about,
Yeah.
right?
That's
I don't
very
go
true.
deep in with people. I know my people that I can go deep in conversation with, especially conspiracy conversation. But it's a good like people know really anything of any topic that you can talk about. So it's just like talking points, and I think that's what got me into it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've gotten just more. It's just fascinating. I think it's like I like to read. It's funny because one of the producers here is Solange, and she's also in a book club that we do here at our church. And I really look at conspiracy theories like a mystery novel. It's a mystery novel because in
No, that is
reality,
true.
like at this point, how can you prove fake or not? Like at this point
Yeah,
in life,
fake or
like
real at this
fake or
point.
real, it's hard. So I don't know. I think that's what stemmed my conspiracy love, and then now it's just I'll listen to anybody once.
Yes, I know that.
I'll listen
about-
to anybody.
I know that about you. And I will give you the benefit of the doubt. I feel like conspiracy theories used to be like crazy Reddit threads, right? Or like crazy videos on YouTube. I feel like journalism now has married conspiracy theories, and now it's getting a lot more intelligent.
Yeah.
So before it would be really, really crazy. Now you have a really smart journalist who went to school for something. They got their brain around a conspiracy theory and they're diving into it. And you're like, wait, this person actually has a point, and they're finding evidence for things. So that can really get you into it. Like, what's the word? Into like a deep hole of it. Cause you're like, whoa, 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 this person is finding some
And
really
I feel
cool.
like those are the ones that go crazy.
Those are the ones.
Those are
Yeah.
the ones that go crazy because we've seen it. Like we have news anchors that we're thinking about right now in our head that like they just go in and like you see them lose their mind.
It's true.
But it's a beautiful thing, like the independent journalist space, because now they don't have these huge overheads of people forcing them to talk about specific topics or like sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really like you could talk about whatever you want at this time and age. And like you have to be careful with that, obviously, with everything that you do. But you're now exposed to like just different points of views, especially like the moon landing is such a great conspiracy that I always like to like me and my husband will always like talk about it and like bring it up, especially when like things happen. But it's just crazy to see how technology, right? How has evolved. And it's like those kind of topics, it's just easy topics that you can have conversations about. And it's not anything like about politics, right? We're not jumping into like, do you like Trump or not?
It's
Or
true.
did you vote for Biden or not? Or it's more lighthearted but easy conversation. So I don't know.
No,
That's
it's
why I
very
like
true.
conspiracies.
For me, okay, for me, and the reason I wanted to have you on this podcast, because we've talked about this before, is it's not that I don't like conspiracies. I enjoy a good conspiracy. And I've listened to podcasts about conspiracies and I've like gotten into it. I enjoy a really good story. Like I really do. For me, and we've talked about this on our group chat, is like, and here it made the perfect point. It's like we can get stuck on whether the conspiracy is true or false and not whether constantly going into that deep dive is healthy for us.
Yes.
And I kind of noticed the switch in like, okay, when the government literally was like, yeah, here's all these like unidentified objects floating around in the sky that have gone back to I don't even know how many years ago. Here, like, here we're just releasing them all for everybody to watch. Like that does something to like the whole country and everybody who's been like, no, UFOs are fake, aliens are real, aliens are fake. And then now the government's like, yeah, here's a ton of UFO videos and files.
Do what you will with
Do
it.
what you will.
Have
with it.
fun.
And it's like, so you've been kind of like gatekeeping us and gatekeeping and gaslighting for so long. Not to say now aliens are real, but now it's like, oh, we're not saying they exist. We're not saying they don't. It's just here's some files for you. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, listen,
that does something to our psyche, you know?
It does 100%. Like I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like fully like agree with you, and like like when you make those comments in our chat, it reels me back sometimes because it's like you can go crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like that's the beauty of it. And like I've had this conversation with my husband where it's like he's not a conspiracy guy like I am. Like I can sit and listen to hours of conspiracy and it won't put me in a place where I'm like having an existential crisis about my life. I genuinely just enjoy, like, I've never heard about this topic. I've always said this about myself, is that like I love to learn. I love school. I hate the testing aspect of it. So like if you put me in a situation where I get to learn something new, I love it. But ultimately, I feel like all these like conversations when it comes to topics of conspiracy and how deep you dive into it, like it really just points me back to God in this weird way because it's like I can't control
That's
it. I
beautiful.
know it's beautiful, right? But I can't control it. Like I can't like there it just shows you how dark the world is. Like
No, it's true.
it's like it's interesting because like yeah, I have kids and like yeah, I have to raise them in this world and like I'm exposing myself to like the real, but I feel like there's some, like there's some way that it molds me as like a person where I can make the right decisions, but like the Bible tells us that I can't walk in fear. So like I feel like the moment that you step into the fear or you step into like that obsession where like that becomes your life, that's the problem,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Because I do feel like there is truth. Like for example, I mean, I don't want to go because I don't like again, what I say is not how the Alessis may believe or this podcast believes. So I don't want that to be like associated with them. But like for example, I started to homeschool because I felt like I don't like the textbooks that are getting sold to our schools and like our kids are getting, fed. Like it's just something that I don't agree with. And like that can become a conspiracy because of who was the publishing person that bought those textbooks back in like the 1920s, right? It was Maxwell, and that's connected to like Ghislaine and like the Epstein files. Like
Oh my God, I
so
forget
it's
that
like,
that's a
yeah,
whole thing.
like everything is somehow connected, and like you can sit here I truly feel like if it makes you spiral, it's not for you. Like
100%.
don't dig into it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Like
And I spiral.
yeah. And you've
I
said that.
spiral.
You're like, and you're very clear, like, guys, this is my line. And
Yeah.
she'll stop replying. We'll be in like deep in conversation, 300 text messages later, and Lauren has not looked at any of them because that's her line. And like,
Yeah.
that's the respect. But she knows she can always come to us and ask us, hey, how do you feel about this topic? And we know where Lauren's plugs are. And I feel like it's similar to like when you take politics home to like a family dinner.
100%.
Like, you're not going to go to a Thanksgiving dinner and like bring up all these opinions. Like, it's literally going to cause strife. I feel like conspiracies is like the same.
100%. And I think it's different when you're like, oh, this is a cool conspiracy. Because I think what you're saying too is like, look, I took my kids out of school because I just didn't like what the textbooks were saying. And that also happens to be tied to a conspiracy. But you're not saying because it's tied to a conspiracy, I'm taking my kids out.
No.
So it's, for me, I tend to spiral. So I know I can only go this far and no more. Like, for example, there's some, and we talked about this, like some environments where like women just have the same conversations at times. Not all women and not all the time, but it's like the same old conversations about kids, about, husbands. And I'm like,
where do you get your nails done? Where did you get that sharp?
I need something new. Yeah. And then it always loops back to like, oh, well, vaccines. Are you giving your kids vaccines or not? No, you can't give your kids vaccines. And then no, you can't give them that baby formula. And then no, you can't feed them this food. And then no, you can't feed them with this ingredients.
Well, you can't do anything.
Then I'm like, can I eat, breathe, and sleep anything? Like, and then I had my own issues with food and like gluten and sugar and dairy where you'd know this. Like I'd break out so terribly. My gut had issues. So I had restrictions on my own life that finally I had to get to a point where literally I was like, I am made free in Christ.
Well, and then you could also eat the flour from Italy, but not from the United States.
But not from the United States.
That's a conspiracy. Why? Is the pesticides.
Oh, 100%.
It's the pesticides.
At this point, everyone's like, not even a conspiracy. Fact. 100% fact.
But so that's the conversation, is that I feel like they're conspiracies until they're proven fact, right?
That's
because like
that's the part that makes me spiral.
But like I don't know, but that's the separation. Like your line
100%
ultimately. And I feel like even with conspiracies, because I can sit here and be like, no, like you have to listen to me, like this is right. But like, am I willing to admit that I'm wrong? Like, let's say some sort of fact may come out about something and proves my take complete wrong, am I willing to say like, okay, no, I was wrong. I gotta change my opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what kind of like balances the healthiness, because if you're not able to say I was wrong or change your opinion because you were wrong, I feel like you might be part of a cult.
That's very true. Well, and I was watching a documentary. I'm not going to say which one, but well, I'll just say it because we all have differing opinions, and I'm just going to say what's in the documentary. But it was the Michael Jackson
So
documentary.
like, I know what documentary you're talking about.
I was watching the documentary with Michael Jackson, the Netflix one, The Verdict, and the whole time I was like, wow, this is like, it all happened when I was little. I didn't know all the details. But there was one lady, her career was just to take down Michael Jackson. The whole verdict was that he's innocent. And the lady in the end was so like, no, he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty. That in the end she goes, or no, sorry. They proved him not guilty. And her whole point was like, they said he was not guilty. They didn't say he was innocent. And I was like, man, you have to be so wrapped up in your own belief. And again, I don't really know. I have no opinion on that. But just to see her like logic behind that was so insane. And it's like you're saying, you have to be so tied to your own belief that when fact is presented to you or another side is presented to you, you're still blinded by your own belief.
Yeah. And it's just like, there's a layer, I'll tell you, that like, I feel like we have to spark our children to want to ask questions, right? Like we just can't take this because like
100%.
you just said, you don't know, you didn't live that.
No.
I remember the other night, this wasn't the other night, this must have been years ago, when we went to your house and we started watching Michael Jackson videos, and how like you, Gabby and Steph had never seen those videos before. And me, Kirsten and Krista are like, how have you never seen? And it's like, so it gets lost. Like 100%. A lot of history gets lost because we're not asking questions.
No.
And it's funny because something had gotten pointed out to me in high school, and maybe it was like my history teacher. Honestly, I have no idea. But they told us, they're like, history is written by the winner. And like that messed me up. And it's true. Like, who's to say that like our history isn't slightly getting changed every day?
It's true.
So it's like, up to what point are we okay with just taking everything at face value? Especially with things like, there's some things that like, honestly, like whether Michael Jackson is innocent or guilty, like does not affect me. Like,
yeah, it doesn't affect me like on a daily basis.
I love you, Michael Jackson, like homie, but like it doesn't affect me. He's passed away. Like I have no ties to him, so it doesn't. It sucks that this one woman has so much control over his narrative.
Yeah, it's true.
Like that's his testimony. Like that sucks. I personally am on the side that I think he was trying to expose Hollywood for all the nasty stuff that they were doing.
I was gonna say that is please share that conspiracy. That's the craziest conspiracy I've ever heard.
I should have rewatched that episode.
Solange is back there.
She's like, you believe it? Yeah, you see? Like, I truly, because it didn't just happen to him. It happened to the other director that wrote the movie Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh my gosh.
What's her name?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. What was that guy's name? Is it Stanley Kubrick?
No. I could look it up.
But
because that movie gets referenced all the time.
And so they made the movie. I'm getting the chills, guys. I'm getting the chills.
And let's not act like Epstein is a conspiracy theory. No. That is like,
yeah, if you're in 2026 and you're saying that what Epstein went through like is fake, like come on. Like please open up like any sort of documentary. Like no. But back to Michael Jackson. So basically, I don't remember it word for word, so please don't quote me. And you can find me online and I'll share it with you. I'm not going to tell him to link it because I do not need to feed you guys this sort of topic. But find me online and I'll share it with you. It was Stanley Kubrick, right? But basically what they were saying is that Michael Jackson, he was trying to expose Hollywood for everything that they were doing. It was nasty. That so much so like kind of similar to Britney Spears, where he had a handler, right? And like on the last couple days of his life, like they're basically implying that the handler was the one that like killed him. So it was and if you look back to where the handler comes from, he's like connected to like people who've worked in like different countries of like the CIA. Look, Solange is nodding, so I'm not off base. But it's something crazy like that where it's like you start to look at the history of these people and it's like, man, it's a hard topic to argue when you're connected to like the army. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why are so many people connected to the army? And then why is there so much death around it?
Yeah, it's definitely strange.
So the same with Stanley Kubrick. So Stanley Kubrick was apparently when he made Eyes Wide Shut, he was trying to expose that whole like pedophilia circle ring, and he created this movie. And while that movie, I think it was like a few weeks before that movie was ready to be basically shown, like there was so much pushback from Hollywood saying like you can't add this, you can't do this. And Stanley was like, I mean, if you watched any of his movies, like he was out to lunch. Like you could not tell him what he could or couldn't do. Um, and he basically had a mysterious death like 2 weeks before the movie was set to premiere, and they've changed the entire movie where like no one has seen what this movie was supposed to look
I
like.
have heard this.
So it's like you look at this and you're like, how is that something that you can just argue like that it wasn't intentional? You know? So it's like, I think, how do I look at that and not spiral? You know what that teaches me? Maybe I shouldn't push my kid to be a celebrity,
Yeah,
right? Maybe I don't need a child actress. Like as much as I think it's
100%.
so cute that my oldest daughter can like make people laugh and dance and she's just so cute, maybe we shouldn't put her in commercials and put her in those situations where like I feel like that's where it teaches you. Now, can you
100%.
spiral? 100%. Because there are nightclubs in New York that
Mhm.
wealthy people pay to that do all this stuff that did in that movie, you know? So
Mhm.
it's like it exists.
It does exist. It does.
But I don't know.
And I think the part that makes me spiral is when it's like, oh, and then this person was hired by this person, and then on the government, like I don't know how to explain it, but when I'm down for a conspiracy when it's about people in Hollywood, you know,
Yeah.
like I said, that doesn't affect me, or like you said, the whole Michael Jackson thing, that doesn't affect me, or like sometimes those things break my heart because it's so sad and it's so
sad. Well,
terrible.
it's ruining his testimony. Like this woman
Yes.
that did that documentary, like has literally grabbed his name and slandered him when like and it's like so strategic on Netflix too to release that documentary when they're releasing this amazing movie about him.
Well, and even and this isn't a conspiracy, this is in the documentary. The person that created Michael Jackson's documentary back in like the early 2000s was the same man that created the Diana documentary that created beef between her and the royals.
And like that's a whole nother conspiracy in and of itself,
Whole another conspiracy.
which is one of my favorites. I love
Well,
that.
what's that conspiracy?
That she was basically exposing same thing because if
Same
you think
thing?
about Prince Andrew,
Oh that and this is the part, not that it makes me spiral, but now I'm like, okay, now I'm upset because that's not even a conspiracy, that's fact. Like Prince Andrew, he was just imprisoned, right?
I think so. I don't know. But see, that's where I stop. Like, I don't keep up with like the day to day as to where we are in the trials and stuff. Like, it's too much.
It's
Like,
too much.
it's too much. I did keep up with the Amber Heard. That wasn't a conspiracy, I guess.
No, that
There's
wasn't a
some topics that
conspiracy.
I'll like keep up with, but that's just like all the Epstein stuff is way too much for me.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And like, but yeah, I think Andrew was getting in trouble. Did he? Is he in jail? Yeah, he's in jail. He's gone.
He's
locked
in
up.
jail.
He's
Yeah,
locked up.
that's the part that makes me upset is like when the overall audience is gaslit for saying, "Hey, this is a thing, this is a thing." No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And
Well,
then
they're
it's like
titled as conspiracists.
conspiracy theorists. And then from one day to the next, it's like, oh, Prince Andrew is now taken away to prison because of what he did to this 17-year-old girl back when he was on Epstein Island. And it's like, this is what people have been saying for years, not just the actual victims, but like as a community, people who have been seeing it in magazines and newspapers. And it's just so frustrating because sometimes it feels like the people at B just have all the control and we, the audience, have no say. That's when it can get me mad.
I think media does a really good job at manipulating the narrative, though, too.
100%.
Because didn't like, this isn't conspiracy, didn't like someone hook up with someone in the English because the age differences are. There was like a celebrity that recently came out that interviewed that he was basically with, who was it? Whatever. There was a celebrity that came out recently that basically said that he had hooked up with someone who was 16 because the legal rights were different in the state in England. So it's like, where does that fit into Epstein? So we hate this, like, and I think this is how my mind works, where it's like I kind of look at the person as human, right? Is it right? No, it's not right. Like the royal family shouldn't have covered for Prince Andrew. Like we shouldn't be covering for Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why they would hide that from the public.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
100%, yes.
Now, should we be turning against each other because they're hiding all this information from us? I don't think so. right? Like, it's not fair that you call me a conspiracist because I believe this when you think that's complete bananas. No, I think there should be like a healthy conversation to be had, but I can reason. I guess I can play devil's advocate.
That's the part that makes me upset because I think when you immediately go conspiracy theorist, everybody who's like, "Hey, I'm actually a rational person, rational thinking person who has questions like every other person." And it's like, boom, you get labeled a conspiracy theorist, but we all get put into the box of crazy thinking person, irrational thinking of conspiracy theorist when if we just had a normal conversation, it's like, no, honestly, I think that way too. We're just covering for our son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
100%. Like, I would have probably done that for my son too.
yeah, it makes sense
Like,
when we all zoom out, but it's like, no, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a conspiracy theorist. How could you even think that? All these years later, oh no, you were right.
I know you're right. And you have to swallow. It's just like, it's funny. There's been another tiff in our family where we talk about the chemtrails. Have you heard about the chemtrails?
Mm-mm.
How like they manufacture clouds to help it rain, but it's like chemical rain.
Is that the same thing as like what's the other theory that like they force storms? What's that
Oh
one
yeah,
called?
so that's
It's
all
the
like,
same
yeah,
thing.
same thing where it's like they create clouds. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
literally videos online of like you could see them because it's like it's molecules. Like it's things
insane.
that they've been able to like put together and just do. Like so we had this conversation of how like they'll basically feed clouds into the skies to create rain because there's droughts everywhere. But
Mm-hmm.
then I think back it was like the 1910s or 1920s they hired some guy to do that somewhere in like they tested it in like the Nevada area.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were doing it. I think it was like the state of California was trying to do it to get rain in California. But this man ended up making it like flood
No.
completely, like kill the whole town type of thing. Like because it was way too much rain that they're like, scrap this. We can't do this anymore. That it just got forgotten. So then we bring it up because you see it. You can tell when there's been like painted clouds in the sky. That's not how clouds look like.
That reminds me of the Truman Show.
Yes.
You know when he like
Yes, but it's true. But then it's like, then you think of like, I just don't know. And I think that's probably where my disappointment is with our country specifically is like, why do you hide this like so well? Like, I feel like it should be taught, but
that was one of my questions. Continue. I'm gonna read it. It's so funny.
but like, why is it hidden? Like, what do you try to like? I understand why maybe we won't have a class on it in high school, right? We don't want to create a whole generation of people who are scared of stepping outside. But I wish it was more public knowledge that you can just go to the library and find out about it.
It's true.
I feel like a lot more people would be level-headed about these topics than it being like, how could you possibly say you can create clouds? That's crazy. Like, it's not crazy. We've been doing it for almost a century at this point.
It's
like,
true. No, this is one of the questions. If the government is hiding everything, how are they so bad at hiding literally everything else? It's
I
true.
don't know. How?
I
But
don't
it's like, I
know.
can't fault the government for hiding things from the public.
Yeah,
Do
no,
you know
it's
what I'm
true.
saying? Like, I can't sit here and be like, how could you possibly not tell me that like Charlie Kirk was gonna die that day?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you know?
But I feel like, and I mean, here's the thing. You don't know if it's like, it's bad if you do, it's bad if you don't kind of thing, because in their mind, they're thinking, if we release this to the public, they're going to go crazy. But then at the same time, if you're forced to hide everything, we're still going crazy.
Yeah, because we
Because we
don't
have a
trust
ton of
you.
questions and we still don't trust you because you hid everything with like UFOs, and a ton of people were like, this happened to me. I saw it. And then what, 50 years later, you're like, oh yeah, everything they said was right. Here's a ton of videos of UFOs. It's like, what? So I don't know.
Do you
I
think
don't know.
aliens are real?
I don't. I have such a hard time believing it's like aliens, and I know this is bad, but like I have such a hard time believing dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah, I don't.
Like even that's like no,
Bizarre. I don't know. I don't know where I stand with aliens. I feel like there's not enough evidence.
And here's the thing: as soon as you release it to the public, we're like,
It's like,
we don't really care.
I'm like,
I
I'd be
doubt
interested-
aliens.
If you have a picture of one that like looks cute and like looks like ET, I'm here for it. Like,
But as soon as they made it like knowledgeable, like, hey, we have unidentified objects
but that
flying to
should
the
be a
sky.
lesson to the government because look,
100%.
you like literally give peace to a group of people that like, you see, we've been saying this, and it's like, okay, like,
Now we don't even care.
I don't care. I don't care. It, again,
I
it
really
doesn't
don't care.
affect my day to day.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. So I don't know. I don't know.
I
They're
don't know.
great topics. But I choose to see it. You have to see it lightly. You cannot spiral. I think that's the key. The key is as soon as you start to spiral, you have to put the emergency brake on
So
and
where's the
reanalyze.
line for you?
Um, I think when it's like all I think about,
And have
right?
you gotten there before?
Um, I feel like I had to take a break from Candace Owens. Like we did a fast. We do a fast every year for church, and I genuinely fasted Candace Owens because I was like, I'm addicted. I can't. But it came from a point of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come from a point of like what she was saying was like I fully disagreed or agreed with. It was more of like I'm literally breaking my back to listen to these episodes, and like I haven't opened up my Bible in like a week. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like that's I feel like that's the red flag. When
Mm.
it's like I'm not cleaning my house, I'm not serving my house, I'm not serving my kids, I'm not doing my job. Like if that's all you think about and all you're like consumed with, and your attitude changes a little bit. So I feel like
It's
if you're
true.
like, yeah, like if you get like all gloomy and like doomy and like it's a red flag.
It's a red flag.
It's a red flag.
And like a lack of trust in everything.
And everything.
Yeah.
But then that's where that goes back to the argument of like, are you being willing to like prove it wrong? Like if someone comes into the room and tells you like, no, here are the facts, are you willing to like take everything that you just said back
Mm-hmm.
and apologize? But I think that's just a good human trait. I don't necessarily think that's just
It's accountability, just being like, oh, that's what I thought it was.
because I'm like, I feel like we struggle with that on a day-to-day basis, that people aren't people who like to admit that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which I find that though in conspiracies, and like funny enough, our group chat, like this would happen on it. But it was like that would happen. For example, the only thing I could think of right now is like the Charlie Kirk situation left the whole like I would say like right side of the country like
if you
super
guys can zoom into this and post, our bestie made us a cup that said Candace Owens is tearing us apart.
That was my text. I was like, get a hold of yourself.
Because it was such a hot topic of conversation.
It was.
But
It
I feel
was
like
such
the
a-
whole world was talking about it.
I would say the whole world. And then my cousin visited from California and she was like, I literally had no idea who that guy was.
The whole conservative world was talking
The whole
about
conservative
the whole
world was
conservative
talking-
world was talking about it.
So we were talking about it and we were pretty heated about it. I wasn't. I was like, I'm avoiding. But it got pretty heated. But this is where I'm like, okay, where do you, as if you're someone who likes to dive into conspiracies, where is it like, okay, now I'm going to take accountability because it was wrong? Because sometimes, specifically in like a situation like the Charlie Kirk one, it was like, oh, the government found the bullet that matched the gun. I was like, oh no, even that's a conspiracy. I feel like for every news source that's come out, there's a false narrative in the conspiracy world for what the news source has to say.
But I feel like that's with like all news sources. Does that make sense? Like I just like I think the problem is the argument. Because like
Okay.
you're not willing to listen to the other side of it. And I feel like I was
That's
always
the
really
truth.
good with listening to the other side of it because that checked me. Like I'm sitting here like the only person in our church listening to Candace Owens, and like people think I'm crazy, but like I'm willing to be proven wrong. I've always dubbed to her as like I don't know what I ultimately this is how I feel about it. It's now put on camera, so Stephanie Moinia, you can hear me. I just don't know what it's like to lose a best friend like that.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I can't imagine if someone came and shot you in front of me and for millions of people to see. Like I don't know if I would be able to just like take that as face value, accept what the government said, and then move on. Like
Mm.
I genuinely see what she's doing for her best friend as something like noble. Now, has she gone off the rails? Maybe it has. Because like her whole show is about that and she hasn't stopped talking about it. So
Yeah.
I feel like unfortunately, like, and this is where I don't know. And I think it took me the fast to realize that like I don't know if it's all media related at this point where she's just trying to create rage
Like
bait.
make money and rage bait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like rage bait. Or if it's like a genuine, like just like she's disappointed with how the government treated it.
Yeah.
Because like it's not a trend.
Mm-mm.
And it feels like it was treated like a trend.
Yeah.
You know, like it's no
Which
one's
how sad
talking-
for him.
how
Like, can you
sad for
imagine your life?
him.
Yeah.
And like the legacy left behind is like your wife. And like it's not like we could say the best about his wife right now.
I
You
don't know
know?
enough about his. I mean, I honestly don't know enough, and
I only know what the media shows.
yeah,
But I'm like, from what the media shows, like, I don't know if I would want that to be my legacy.
yeah. I think that's the sad part beyond the person and his wife as a person. It's like that's the legacy left. Which I think here's the thing with history. Yes, it's told by the winner, but if you give it enough time, the dust settles, and people go, "Oh my gosh, this guy was like really smart," or "This person was like really talented." But I forgot why I was saying that. But anyways, I feel like that's what's sad is that the media leaves like they get to leave
They
the
get to
history.
dictate.
They get to dictate the story and that's what's really really sad. But I will say what's where I can give you the benefit of the doubt like a person like Candace or I think House and Habit is like a big
House
one
and Habit was fun.
is because you get looped in and they're so good at telling a story.
They're so good at telling a story.
And it's not that you're hooked because you're like, "Oh, but they're so good at what they do." You're just hooked into their story. And
They're just good storytellers. Like, they genuinely have a gift
they really
for
have a
storytelling.
gift. And
But
so
those are those journalists that we were talking about.
it
Like, those
goes back to
independent.
journalism even more than it does like good conspiracy theorists. It goes back to good journalism. So, like I will admit I got hooked when she did the whole like Bridget Macron. And I literally I didn't watch all of it cuz it got like super kooky at the end. I was like, "What is happening?"
It's just hard to like take.
It
Like, it's hard to
is.
take in that, like, could the French president really be married to a pederast?
But that's what's funny is that I got looped in because I was like, this is hilarious. Like to me, this is crazy, but it's funny. So, but I kept watching. I was like, why am I watching an almost 2-hour podcast? But you get looped into the narrative, you get looped into the story, and then I missed an episode and I was like, I need to stop. Like this is
This is it.
insane. This is getting out of hand. But
I don't know. I don't know if there's like a specific line in the sand for everyone. I feel like you have to gauge it. Because again, I was able to watch the entire documentary and like did not affect me. If anything, like I remember when Candace would pull up facts about like their lives, like it just opens up my mind to want to research like the places they lived, right? Like the houses, like even the photographers that like shot photos of like them. So it like opens up more knowledge that I can just like learn more about. So I think like for me, that's kind of always how I've looked at it is like it just it enlightens me towards things that are like happen, right?
yeah.
So like I don't know, like the photographer that shot Macron when he did like his whole presidential picture that like the books in the desk were all written like they were all authors of people who were like pedophile like known pedophiles or like
Oh, I
people
remember that.
you know
Yes.
so it's like I would have never even realized that was a book or like topics of books or like even the photography. Remember when that whole thing happened with the fashion, was it Balenciaga?
Oof, yes.
So like even like that you just start researching like the photographers and like that whole world and it's like, oh my god, look how they're connected. And
Mm-hmm.
like again, it's not doomsday, it's more of just like I don't know if I want to follow those kind of people. I
Yeah.
think it if anything it might bring some wisdom to me where it's like maybe I just shouldn't follow these people.
Yeah. 100%.
But I don't know. I think it's different for everyone because again, my point was that like my husband can't sit and listen through an episode because he gets existential. He'll be like, "How do
That's
you
me.
listen to this? Like there's nothing real in this world. Like we live in a facade." And it's like for me, I'm like, "Yeah, but I mean, we know that already. Like that's why we have Jesus. Like he gives us the transparency and the discernment because like ultimately like we live in a world that's broken.
It's true.
It doesn't surprise. Like I'm just not surprised by things. I feel like there's crazier things in the Bible that happened than like things that we read about.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
There's some super dark stories in the Bible.
So I don't know.
And I will say, I feel like for me, the line is I'm down to discuss a conspiracy theory as long as it doesn't get doomsday, as long as it doesn't affect me, and as long as we're on target. Because that was one thing, like, Candace Owens lost me. I'm just going to be honest. She lost me a long time ago because even listening to the whole Macron story, she was more focused on her possibly being a man than she was on the fact that she married and went after like a much younger man when she was
Yeah.
older. So I was like, this kind of lost me because there's a much more alarming piece here that we're not addressing.
Yeah.
And even if the whole country of France knows, like, go into that more. So to me, it was like a good point, but the target was way off. And I felt like,
And that's where I feel like it might be media. Like she's just trying to get like long enough videos to be able to get more ad sponsorships to like
to get
to do
money.
what she needs to do because she probably needs a really big security team,
Yeah,
you know?
it's
So,
true.
but yeah, I mean, that was a great conspiracy. I would
That was
finish it. I love that one. That one blew my mind just because it was like the main like back to your topic, her main point. And I feel like she lost it along the way because you're right.
it's true.
Like her main point is that like whether it was a guy or girl, like this woman, let's just call her a woman because we really don't know if she's a guy. But this woman was his teacher
Mm-hmm.
when he was like 14 years old.
He was her student.
And then there's pictures of them together, and it's like they
And
got
she was married with children.
And then like there's just no, and then it's funny because it was like they meet. There's pictures of them in school where she was a teacher. And then it's funny because the French always talk about her like she was this like fine little lad where she wore
Yes.
like these like little skirts and like she was just so like tempting. But you look at pictures of her and it's like
Well, she just looks like a teacher.
she looks like a Karen.
Yeah.
She's like
a
Karen
normal
from
teacher.
like Minnesota.
Yes.
And it's like that's what like reeled 14-year-old like, and he was handsome. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't like this like ugly man either. Like, and I know this is super like superficial or whatever, but it's just like the fact that could she have really groomed him? And then there's no documentation of her life
Nothing.
past, I think it's like from her mid 20s to like 40s when they finally got married or whatever, or whenever they finally came out. But it's like, those are the red flags where it's like, man, maybe I shouldn't defend the French culture when they're on the Olympics, you know, doing those kind of things. Do you
It's
remember
true.
that whole thing that happened with the Olympics and like
The whole what's it called? The Last
the
Supper
Last
table.
Supper with like the transgender,
Yeah.
where it's like I kind of like when that whole thing came out, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Candace's whole like story about them didn't come out until after that Olympics. So like I
Don't
don't
remember.
remember the time, but I think it was after. But I remember thinking with the Olympics, I'm like, I would defend it. I was like, oh, France is like, it's the city of art.
Yeah.
You know, like transgender. I obviously don't agree with transgenderism. Especially, listen, do what you will at your house. That's between you and the Lord. Like, that's between you and the Lord. But when it's being publicized to things that my kids are watching on live TV, that's where I have the problem.
Sure.
So, like, but in my mind, I can rationalize with, like, you know what? It's France. They're liberal. Like, I'm not shocked.
It's art, stuff like that. Yeah.
But then you learn about, like, all of this, like, potential reality. And it's like, man, you know, it's not that far off.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why because she was actually, like, head of I don't know what
For
when
the
it comes
Olympics.
to creative for the Olympics.
I remember that.
So it's like, man, if all this is true about you, it doesn't seem so much of a stretch anymore.
No, it's true. And I think that's where, to sort of bring this into a close, I think that's where my point of view is. If you're looking and taking in different conspiracies and going, okay, that kind of ties in good with this, and it's making more sense why maybe I should just be careful what my kids are ingesting when they're in school, right? Because it is not that I'm diving super deep into conspiracies, but I'm just taking a little bit from here, taking a little bit from here. And I don't see that that's super far off. I could see how it makes sense. That's very different from going, oh my God, and then the Maxwell, that's tied to Ghislaine, and then that's tied to Epstein, and then Epstein's tied to this, and then they're tied to the presidency. Then, oh my God, then we can't trust anybody. Then going down the spiral of like everything's interconnected, and I can't trust anybody because everything is interconnected, the school system, the government, the president. Like, it's when you start to go down that route that I feel like it can become honestly not healthy for your mental health
at all.
But if you're using it to be like, okay, yeah, that I can see how, honestly, like it's no lie. It is a fact. The French president he met his now wife when she was his teacher, already married to another man and had kids. And it looks like she groomed him. And then you see something very strange at the Olympics opening ceremony. So it's like, yeah, maybe I should be careful with what I let my kids take in when it comes to art, when it comes to French art and French culture.
Or like before you might have been blasé about it, where it's like, oh, it's just art. Like,
It's just art. Who cares?
who cares? But I don't know. I think like if you just always have that tinfoil hat of like, how could I be more careful?
It's true.
Or how can I make a difference? Because like there are people who have the power to make a difference. Like, hello, this guy, what's his name? Not RFK. He wouldn't have got it. His whole
Yes.
campaign was on vaccines, and vaccine, like health and like illness, like that was all a conspiracy until like there's enough. I mean, listen, there's still people look at you crazy when you say vaccines can cause different illnesses.
Yeah, he was like the ultimate conspiracy guy, conspiracy theorist, and now he's like head up in our government. That's
And
crazy.
people love him. MAGA. What is it? No, it's MAHA.
Maha.
MAHA. Make America healthy again.
So, Dania, closing comments. Anything you want to say before we close?
I thank you for calling me. This was fun.
This is fun.
This was fun. No.
And we didn't debate. We thought we would
didn't
debate, but we
We
didn't.
didn't debate. That's good. No, this was great. This was great. And honestly, I would say turn off your phone, get off of social media, go pick up a book,
That's good.
go listen to a podcast. I feel like even that, like just for fun, it doesn't have to like change you. You don't have to like, but just like stop scrolling. Like go learn something. I don't know. That was my comments.
I love that.
All right.
Well, thank you for listening to the Family Business Podcast with the Alessis and Dania.
Ah!
Lewis, we hope you watched, and we hope that this surprised you.
Did I make you proud? I hope so.
And also, Dania is not a conspiracy theorist. She is a friend who loves conspiracies. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned a little something, got a little kooky with us, put on your own tinfoil hat. And nothing that was said here is like a matter of fact. It's all conspiracy. So please don't take it to heart. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and tune in next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining the Family Business today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave us a review. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you join us next time, because family is everybody's business.